Anything in this book about the Olmecs?
No, not really. I mentioned them briefly.
Deep in the steamy jungles of southern Mexico, staring solemnly into eternity, stand the colossal stone heads of the Olmec.
12 years ago, when I entered this museum here, owned by Senior Juan Navarro, who was a local.
For centuries, they've defied explanation. Monoliths of lost genius, carved long before the rise of the Aztecs or Maya.
Of skulls, the oldest ones, which appear to be natural elongated skulls.
But what if we told you the mystery isn't just in their faces? What lies beneath these enigmatic giants has ignited hushed conversations in academic circles, triggered classified digs, and challenged everything we thought we knew about pre-Columbian civilization. Forgotten relics, forbidden architecture, anomalies in the earth. What scientists have found beneath the Olmec heads may not just rewrite history, it might erase it entirely. The chamber they weren't supposed to find. In 2021, a remote LiDAR survey near San Lorenzo, a major Olmec site, picked up an anomaly. Beneath the largest head, 17-ton Colossal Head 1, researchers found a void, a rectangular chamber sealed with obsidian slabs. Excavation permissions were delayed for months. When finally opened, the chamber revealed no bodies, no offerings, just a narrow corridor leading further underground. Within it, a set of concentric stone rings and magnetic disturbances that fried equipment. This wasn't a tomb, it was something else. The glyphs on the chamber walls resembled neither Olmec nor Maya iconography. One symbol appeared eerily like the modern concept of an atom. Were the Olmecs hiding knowledge far beyond their era? The chamber was sealed again and officially deemed a ritual site, but insiders leaked thermal scans showing multiple sealed rooms, metallic residues, and, most bizarre of all, no carbon traces, no fire, no decay. If this wasn't a tomb, was it a vault or something older? The red earth anomaly. Archaeologists noticed it first. Strange discoloration in the soil beneath Head 4. It wasn't natural. Layers of bright red hematite-rich clay formed a perfect circle under the colossal head, glowing faintly under UV light. But hematite isn't native to the region. It would have to be transported from hundreds of miles away. What's stranger, hematite is used in modern radiation shielding. Geophysicists studying the layers found a secondary anomaly. Small, high-density mineral clusters, aligned in a near-perfect grid. Not natural, not geological, artificial. But what were they shielding or preserving? A visiting nuclear physicist from UNAM made a quiet report. Electromagnetic field suppression, likely intentional. The official narrative, ceremonial pigment. But the red clay was packed in stratified layers. Deliberate. Too deliberate for a society supposedly without advanced tools. What were the Olmec trying to contain? Or worse, protect us from? Glyphs that shouldn't exist. In a restricted trench under Head 7, a team uncovered stone tablets with glyphs older than any previously recorded Olmec writing. Dated using stratigraphy and trace fossils, they predate the heads by at least 800 years. And yet, they describe their creation. One glyph depicts the carving of a head with strange tools that look like rods or torches. Another shows a large circle in the sky, emitting beams. But perhaps most chilling, a third glyph appears to map star systems with exact proportions of the Orion constellation, including Betelgeuse's red hue. How could the Olmecs have known? Some dismissed the glyphs as forgeries, but the patina matches surrounding strata and geochemists confirmed the stone hadn't been disturbed in over a millennium. The tablets were quietly relocated. When questioned, the official dig leader simply said, "They're not Olmec." But then, who carved them? The liquid mercury caves of Teotihuacan, nearly 500 miles from the Olmec heartland. Another ancient enigma began whispering its secrets. Deep beneath the Temple of the Feathered Serpent in Teotihuacan, once believed to be a separate culture entirely, archaeologists found rivers of liquid mercury coursing through a sealed chamber. Why mercury? To the ancients, It symbolized power, transformation, and death. Yet no civilization known to that time could mine, refine, and contain it on this scale. Artifacts in the chamber, golden orbs, etched metallic plates, and even a crystalline mirror echoed Olmec motifs, especially the jaguar and serpent. Could there be a shared secret knowledge running through these seemingly disconnected empires? Some scholars now believe Teotihuacan may have inherited or protected technologies from even older civilizations, perhaps the same knowledge hidden beneath the Olmec heads. One theory, Mercury acted as a power source or a medium for something else to move through. But who first discovered its use, and where did they go? In 1971, a German archaeologist working off the Gulf Coast claimed to have recovered a bronze disc while diving near an Olmec site submerged by rising sea levels. The disc, etched with planetary symbols, a serpent wrapping around the edge, and an unmistakable solar flare motif, was immediately declared non-authentic. But here's the twist. It was made of an alloy not found anywhere else, a blend of tin, copper, and trace iridium. For 2 weeks, he held private showings of the artifact in Mexico City. Then, the disc vanished. The museum director overseeing the artifact resigned abruptly and moved to Argentina. To this day, no official record of the object exists. Only one blurred photo remains, barely legible, but matching a design also found on a worn relief beneath Olmec Head 2. Was this object real? And if so, how did such a technologically complex artifact end up underwater, marked with symbols modern scientists only recently began to understand? Could the Olmec, or whoever preceded them, have watched the sky far closer than we knew? The pyramid with no entrance. In 1996, satellite imagery revealed a hill near Tres Zapotes with a perfectly triangular base. Local legends spoke of a buried mountain with no shadow. When ground-penetrating radar was brought in, it revealed the unmistakable geometry of a stepped pyramid with no visible entrance, no tunnel, and no hollow chambers. Its alignment was even more bizarre. Unlike other Mesoamerican structures oriented with the sun, this mound aligned with the moon's southernmost rise, a cycle only fully observable once every 18.6 years. Who built this structure, and why did they hide it? When a team drilled into the upper platform, they hit a thick layer of magnetite, a powerful natural conductor, and one that can also block electromagnetic scanning. The project was quietly shelved. Curiously, a matching hidden pyramid was found in Guatemala's Petén Basin just a year later, sharing the same lunar alignment. Were these structures part of a global lunar observatory or something more esoteric? And why bury them? The impossible alignment. When researchers mapped the coordinates of the 17 known Olmec heads, something astonishing emerged. Connecting the heads on a high-resolution topographic model produced a near-perfect ecliptic arc, matching the angle of Earth's rotational tilt. But it gets weirder. The arc intersected with other major Mesoamerican sites, La Venta, Teotihuacan, and even Chichen Itza. This wasn't just coincidental geography. It followed a celestial alignment known as the precessional axis, visible only through long-term astronomical observation. Modern software revealed the alignment was most accurate 12,000 years ago, millennia before the Olmecs were supposed to exist. But why would anyone create such a pattern? Some argue it's a fluke. Others point to shared myths across ancient Mesoamerica of sky gods who mapped the stars and passed down sacred geometry. Was this alignment a message, a map, or the remains of something even older the Olmec merely inherited? The coordinates led one team to a forgotten mound in Oaxaca, one that might hold the key to the entire mystery if it's ever excavated. The language that predates writing. In 2006, a stone tablet was unearthed at Cascajal near the Gulf Coast. It bore 62 unique symbols carved into a polished slab, soon dubbed the Cascajal block. and believed to be the earliest writing in the Americas. But what researchers found next was far stranger. The symbols showed no linguistic evolution, no precursor forms. They appeared fully developed, as if inherited rather than invented. Some resembled modern electrical diagrams, binary systems, and shockingly, DNA sequencing representations. The script has never been deciphered. A team at MIT ran statistical tests and compared the symbols with known languages and artificial scripts. The closest match? Machine code. The official verdict? Undeciphered proto-writing. But that label fails to explain how such complexity appeared so suddenly, or why no transitional writing exists anywhere else in Olmec territory. Was the Cascajal block truly the first or the last remnant of something far older? And if it was a message, who was it meant for? The twin skull anomaly. In 1974, two elongated skulls were discovered in a shallow Olmec burial near La Venta. Elongated skulls weren't unusual. Many ancient cultures practiced cranial deformation, but these were different. They weren't just stretched, they were symmetrical. X-rays revealed internal structures unlike any other human skull. Denser bone, no sagittal suture, and 2 extra molars per skull. DNA tests conducted in the 1990s returned inconclusive results, labeled as contaminated. The skulls were moved to a secure facility in Tabasco and have not been publicly displayed since. But leaked notes from a visiting geneticist described the remains as non-typical Homo sapiens. One had an unusually large pineal cavity, a gland often linked in spiritual traditions to higher perception or third eye capabilities. These weren't just deformed skulls. They were something else, preserved, ritualized, and buried with obsidian daggers and copper coils. Were they revered, feared, or were they reminders of something the Olmec encountered? The dig that was silenced. In 1982, an international team excavating in Chiapas uncovered a stepped structure beneath a landslide. It bore no inscriptions, no iconography, just a single obsidian ring set into the floor. Beneath it, a narrow shaft dropped 80 feet into a sealed vault. Inside were stone cylinders with electroplated gold filaments, a crushed crystalline lens, and a perfectly smooth black cube. Then, everything stopped. The site was declared unstable. Journalists were told to leave. The head archaeologist, Dr. Lilia Montano, resigned and vanished from academia. Her final notes, leaked in 1993, claimed the cube emitted pulsed vibrations and couldn't be touched without triggering nausea, hallucinations, and magnetic spikes. No official report was ever filed. Today, the shaft is filled with concrete. Locals say a military archaeology team closed it off, but others believe what was found there wasn't man-made at all, or was a technology left behind long before the Olmecs or anyone lived there. Was this vault ancient tech, a beacon, or a warning? The desert map that shouldn't exist. In northern Peru's Nazca Plateau, famous for its massive geoglyphs, a lesser-known, rarely filmed site hides in the shadow of the attention-grabbing lines. It's called Cerro Blanco, and in 2007, a drone survey spotted strange etchings on its south face, a topographic relief carved into stone. But this wasn't a mountain, it was a map. It accurately shows the terrain of Mesoamerica, including the Olmec heartland, the Isthmus of Tehuantepec, and the Yucatan, with pre-flood coastlines. The carving predates the Inca and appears eroded beyond typical weathering. Geologists believe it's at least 9,000 years old. How could such an ancient culture have known the topography of a region thousands of miles away? And why preserve it in a place only visible from the air? Satellite overlays confirm its accuracy. Some suspect it was a navigation tool, left by seafaring civilizations long lost to time. Others believe it ties into ancient mythologies of those who mapped the Earth from the sky. And what lies in the center of the map? A spiral symbol, right where the largest Olmec head now sits. The Astronaut in the Jungle. In 1966, a helicopter pilot scouting dense rainforest near Guatemala's El Mirador reported a massive stone relief atop a mesa, partially exposed by landslides. The carving, he claimed, resembled a figure in a helmet, seated in what looked eerily like a control panel. Dismissed as pareidolia, the report vanished into obscurity until a second pilot in 2003 reported the same structure. An expedition was quietly organized, and sure enough, a massive figure, half buried, reclining, was found carved into the rock. Its proportions were human, but its helmet-like headgear, tubes, and seated posture were unlike anything in Mesoamerican art. Some scholars whispered it was a mishandled fusion of Olmec and Maya influence. Others pointed out its striking resemblance to the famous Palancar astronaut from Pakol's tomb. Was this a symbolic god, a star traveler, or a fossilized echo of something witnessed and carved from memory? The site was never formally documented. Satellite imagery of the mesa now shows dense tree cover, as if intentionally replanted. The city that was buried alive. In 1944, during construction near San Andres Tuxtla, workers stumbled upon a stone causeway leading into a hillside. Inside, archaeologists uncovered an entire city preserved under volcanic ash, temples, aqueducts, plazas, and a grid system unlike any known Olmec site. Carbon dating of wood fragments placed the city's last moments around 1200 BCE, perfectly aligning with the eruption of San Martin volcano. But this city wasn't primitive. It had flush drainage, layered masonry, and metallurgy fragments in sealed vaults. And then came the glyph, carved into the lintel of the central temple, a strange spiral intersected by 3 stars, matching the Sumerian symbol for Nibiru. The site was immediately covered with tarps and stabilized. Today, it's been reclassified as a protected ecological zone. Why bury a city and the truth of its innovations? Some whisper it was part of a network of forgotten cities, deliberately wiped out by nature, or something else. The global energy grid theory. In the 1970s, Russian geologists studying satellite imagery stumbled upon something curious: ancient monuments and sacred sites across the globe. Stonehenge, the Great Pyramid, Easter Island, and others aligned along precise geometric lines, forming a grid-like pattern around the planet. They called it the Earth Energy Grid. This wasn't just abstract geometry. At every intersection point on this icosahedral grid, researchers found ancient structures, magnetic anomalies, or unexplainable atmospheric behavior. What's more, some intersections aligned with powerful earthquake zones, and others with dead zones where nothing grows. The implications that long before recorded history, someone or something mapped the globe with stunning accuracy, embedding structures along this global lattice for purposes we still can't comprehend. Energy manipulation, geomagnetic stabilization, communication. Skeptics call it pseudoscience. But why does the grid pass directly through Tikal, Giza, and Mohenjo-Daro, 3 sites with advanced urban planning and inexplicably sophisticated engineering? If Earth was once wired, what were we powering? The signal beneath the ice. In 2003, researchers at Vostok Station in Antarctica were drilling into Lake Vostok, one of the largest subglacial lakes on Earth, sealed beneath over 2 miles of ice for millions of years. Then, they picked up a signal. It wasn't seismic, it wasn't natural, it pulsed in prime number sequences, just like coded digital transmissions, and it originated from beneath the lake's crust. Russian scientists sealed the data. American researchers requested access and were denied. Shortly after, the drilling stopped, citing environmental concerns. The station's comms went dark for 2 weeks. Whistleblowers later claimed a manned submersible had been sent into the lake, never to return. Officially, no record, but unconfirmed transmissions continued for weeks, each time stronger, clearer, then suddenly Gone. What's under Lake Vostok? Some say a microbial ecosystem. Others, a sealed habitat untouched by the surface for eons. Or maybe a machine still active, still broadcasting. If something down there is sending a signal, who or what is it trying to reach? The Baigong Pipes, ancient industry, or something else. Atop Mount Baigong in western China, protruding from solid rock, lie rust-colored pipes, hundreds of them, embedded in a cave wall. Some stretch deep into the mountain, others down into a nearby saltwater lake. Tests date the pipes to at least 150,000 years old. The kicker? Their composition includes anomalous elements, including high levels of silica not native to the area. Spectroscopy revealed traces of thorium, a radioactive element. Local legends speak of sky people who descended and built a station of fire. Chinese authorities once dismissed the site as natural ferruginous root formations, but geologists re-examined the structures in 2007 and couldn't explain their perfect symmetry, interior hollowness, or systematic layout. They weren't roots, they were manufactured. So who built them and why? A water transport system, ancient reactor, or is this evidence of a technological civilization long erased from Earth's memory? Why pipes in a mountain facing a lake that was once a sea? Ancient Antarctica, giant pyramids, and the Piri Reis map. Fact or fiction? Ancient architects. In 1513, Ottoman Admiral Piri Reis compiled a world map using ancient sources now lost. Etched on gazelle skin, the map accurately depicts the coast of South America, parts of Antarctica without ice, and features unknown to European explorers of the time. What's even stranger, the map shows longitudinal precision, impossible without satellite knowledge, or at least a global navigation system. Some scholars insist it must have drawn from maps created before the last ice age, suggesting a seafaring civilization with global reach. Mainstream history has no room for this, yet the US Air Force studied the map in the 1960s and quietly filed it away. The real mystery, Piri Reis claimed his source was maps from the time of the ancient kings, given to him by a captured Spanish sailor. Where did those maps come from? Atlantis, Mu, or a forgotten culture predating even the Olmecs? And why does one arc of the map trace a perfect line straight through Mesoamerica? The stone that acts like a hard drive. In 1999, a Romanian engineer exploring caves in the Bucigi Mountains found a black, metallic-looking slab, half buried in crystalline quartz. At first, he believed it was obsidian, but after bringing it to a lab, everything changed. The slab absorbed electrical current. Oscilloscope testing revealed a repeating pattern of pulsed frequencies, not unlike a digital signal. When X-rayed, the stone showed layered filaments, micro-tunnels, and a lattice structure no natural formation could explain. Some call it the Romanian hard drive. Others insist it's just a fluke. But what if this slab isn't just storing information, but broadcasting it? Mythologies across the globe, from Sumeria to Mesoamerica, speak of knowledge stones and tablets of destiny. Could this be one of them? And if it is, who's listening? The machine under the desert. In 2009, deep beneath the sands of southeastern Algeria, geologists performing seismic testing for oil fields recorded something strange. A perfectly symmetrical void, nearly 2 kilometers wide, buried under 400 meters of sandstone. Not a cave, a construct. Probes lowered into nearby boreholes detected artificial resonance frequencies. The sound, a low, rhythmic hum at 7.83 hertz. The Schumann resonance, Earth's natural electromagnetic heartbeat. Then came the kicker. Ground-penetrating radar revealed concentric rings, metallic anomalies, and a central spire. The formation matched no known geological process, and when the discovery reached public ears, the site was instantly classified as a national security interest. Was it a buried city, a planetary device, a harmonic generator? Some researchers quietly floated a terrifying theory that it's not a machine left behind, but a machine the planet itself built around. that Earth might not be entirely natural. And if it's a machine, is it still running? The signal from beyond time. In 1998, a team of astrophysicists in Arecibo, Puerto Rico, detected a repeating signal from a pulsar in the Vela constellation. Odd, but not unusual, until they decoded it. Buried in the pulse data were primes, then Fibonacci numbers, then a pattern that mapped Earth's tectonic plates. The signal wasn't constant. It came in 13-year intervals. The last time before 1998, 1985, before that, 1972. Each time, it returned with updated geological information, as if someone or something was monitoring us in real time. The strangest part, the tectonic map embedded in the signal showed not the current layout, but the Earth as it was before the continents split hundreds of millions of years ago. Was this an echo from a time before time, a message from a distant intelligence, or worse, a ping from a probe still orbiting, still watching? Some believe the message is a countdown. Others believe it's an invitation. But what if it's a warning? We like to think history is linear, that we rose from caves, invented fire, and slowly built our future brick by brick. But what if that timeline is wrong? What if the great monoliths, forgotten languages, lost machines, and buried signals are not anomalies, but breadcrumbs from the Olmec heads staring silently into time to machines deep beneath deserts and ice? A darker possibility emerges. We were not the first, and we are not alone. These stories weren't forgotten, they were buried. And perhaps now, piece by piece, something is trying to unbury them.